to every corner of the galaxy.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2.
He was a space pirate with quirky habits.
Hi. Most people find me quirky. I don't eat in front of people.
She was a busy space liner captain with no time for love.
I've got 50 passengers to take on a space whale watching tour. I don't have time for dating.
But when fate throws them together, the result is pretty inevitable.
You're like no man I've ever met. Forget my job, ship and crew. Where should we go for a date?
It better not be a restaurant.
From Singing in Dreams Entertainments comes a new total immersion experience.
It was incredible. I just put on the headset and it's like I was there, in the story.
Using Singing in Dreams' patented Dreamwear immersion headsets, you'll feel the love.
It were like I could feel everything that plucky ship captain were feeling.
You'll feel the passion.
Let's just say, when they got off, I got off.
You'll feel everything.
Did you enjoy your meal?
Oop. I don't think I should have had that raw seafood.
Singing in Dream Entertainments and Dreamwear headsets, bringing you closer to the adventure. Singing in Dream Entertainments is a division of Singing in Dream military educational software. Combat training software also available. Please be aware that improper use of the Dreamwear headset may lead to psychosis, time loss, memory impairment, and hallucination.
Lave Radio, transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
Galnet News Digest Review of the Year 3307. The biggest news stories of 3307 was Salvation and the NMLA. The Federation had its share of stories too. The events surrounding the disappearance of Starship One were finally explained. The CEO of Core Dynamics attempted to take over the Federation, and a poorly thought out piece of legislation threatened to tear the Federation apart. As 3307 began, Fleet Admiral Vincent stood trial for his part in the sabotage of Starship One and the attempted assassination of Federal President Jasmina Halsey back in May 3301. He'd been implicated by naval technician Rory Webster, who admitted tampering with the ship's hyperdrive, but who in a plea bargain named Vincent as the person who ordered the work. Vincent, a close personal friend of the then Shadow President Zachary Hudson, had been suspected of undermining President Halsey in 3300 and earlier in 3301 by getting her involved in unwinnable conflicts over Onion Head. Former President Halsey, the intended assassination target and who lost her position as Federal President to Hudson while she was missing, presumed dead, returned from the Alliance to Mars for the trial and gave evidence against Vincent. Her evidence and financial records she presented showed that Vincent had accepted massive bribes from military ship manufacturer Core Dynamics to remove Halsey from office. The joint motive appears to have been that Halsey had been planning defence cuts that would have hit both the Federal fleet and the company that builds the ships. In particular, Core Dynamics CEO Jupiter Rochester was implicated in the scandal. As part of the Rochester dynasty that includes his mother Isolde, who is congressman for Altair, and Federal Ambassador to the Empire, Jordan, Rochester comes from one of the most influential families in the Federation. Vincent was found guilty and was sentenced to life imprisonment. Rochester, whom some conspiracy theorists believe was part of a club that manipulates galactic events to suit their own purposes, would no doubt have been arrested and faced trial too, but he escaped before Federal agents could act. Rochester didn't just run away from justice. He took some of his best engineers from Core Dynamics with him to permit-locked HIP 54530, where he began setting up an operation that planned to replace the democratic government of the Federation with a corporate-run model, with himself as the supreme executive. In early February, the Federal Intelligence Agency sent forces to HIP 54530 to arrest Rochester. He was duly taken into custody and on the 5th of March was given a summary sentence of solitary life imprisonment by the Federal Justice Department, to the surprise of the Federal Attorney's Office, which would have preferred the facts of the case, including details of any co-conspirators, to become public. Conspiracy theorists have suggested that Rochester was silenced to prevent him implicating Hudson or other members of his alleged club. The Jupiter Division, without Rochester at its head, made an attempt to take over the Shoutouts system in June, but was defeated a second and final time. The corporatist movement is presumed defunct. A consequence of the Vincent trial and the corporatist wars was that Lakon Spaceways, which was on the verge of being taken over by Core Dynamics, was able to retain its independence with Alliance financial assistance. It relocated to Alioth shortly after. Despite the deep humiliation experienced by the Rochester family, the congressman and the ambassador retained their jobs. One-time Federal President Halsey accepted a role as Federal Ambassador to the Alliance. She also retracted her New Age remarks about the caretakers of our galaxy that she made in April 3302, shortly after being released from 8 months floating in an escape pod. Federal ambassadors are not expected to do drugs. President Hudson, who gained the presidency as a result of the assassination attempt, escaped without being implicated in the scandal, and remains president. Following the NMLA 9 Martyrs bombing that killed his predecessor Brad Mitchell, the new Federal Vice President Jerome Archer took extreme action to try to prevent future terrorist attacks within federal space. He introduced the Domestic Counter-Terrorism Act, which created the legal framework Detection Bureau of the Federal Intelligence Agency to intercept and read every communication with at least one party inside federal. Arrest people who were judged by the automated monitoring software to be planning to commit a crime. Despite a need for greater security, the potential impact on civil liberties caused disquiet in some circles, with Shadow President Felicia Winters providing a rallying point for those who opposed the act. Rumours of students getting arrested for researching federal politics and history online did little to improve perceptions. Archer hailed increased arrest rates as proof of the act's effectiveness, while opponents noted that it was finding enemies in the Federation that didn't exist, and simultaneously completely failing to help track down the NMLA. A number of disaffected factions chose to leave the Federation as a result of the privacy implications of the Proactive Detection Bureau. There were also allegations that the PDB was treating secessionists, those who wanted their factions to leave the Federation, as criminals, and was having them arrested. The Federation later stepped up the pressure by actively, and entirely unsuccessfully, waging war on several of the factions that wanted to leave. Hudson and Archer had another prize in their sights. Former Federal Admiral Yuri Grom. Delta Pavonis, which had previously been a federal system and which is now independent, had invited Grom and the Federation to discuss possible assistance that they might be able to offer the system. During diplomatic talks, a team of soldiers working directly for Hudson attempted to arrest Grom, whom the Federation regards as a traitor. The move plunged the system into a brief war, at the end of which Yuri Grom was free and the federal megaship had been taken over by the EG Union. The Federation's own diplomatic corps roundly condemned Hudson's actions. In the light of this fiasco, Hudson must have been delighted when several thousand domestic terrorists were conveniently discovered by the PDB during the course of the following week. It transpired that these were remnants of the Jupiter Division corporatist movement and may have posed an actual threat to the Federation. Demands for the repeal of the Domestic Counter-Terrorism Act continue. but it's no longer seen as a reason for factions to leave the Federation. To a large degree, the federal populace have become used to being snooped on, and the actual arrest of a small number of actual terrorists may have swung the balance of opinion towards retaining the PDB, for now at least.
Hi, I'm Trent Stephen Findless Jr., and I'm here to tell all you pilots about a great new service. Take a listen to my friend, Pete.
My name's Pete, and I'm a long-distance haulier. I drive a Puma, shipping farm machinery from Leasty to Saweo. I love my family, and I don't mind being a hard-working blue-collar dad, but I'm tired of seeing my family grow old in front of my eyes. Every time I make the run there and back, I lose 15 days in hyperspace. My family is starting to notice that they're getting older, and I'm not. My wife had a baby last week. I did a week of shifts and now my kid's got teeth. I wish there was some way my family could get old at the same speed as me.
There is, Pete.
How?
By buying into my new service, Findless Cryogenics. We aim to put the freeze on the premature aging of your family. The process is simple.
Our unique family centres allow you to drop off your loved ones on the way to work. Simply hire the number of cryogenic pods you need and keep your family asleep while you fly among the stars. We ensure synchronicity with your flight patterns so they spend the same time awake that you spend in the cockpit.
And when you get home, bingo! Your family is the same age as you. Never lose family time in hyperspace again. We guarantee that you'll never miss another birthday, anniversary, or funeral.
Wow, Trent, that sounds great. Where do I sign?
Simply put your credit card details into our special webpage under the hashtag WeFreezeYourLove. We'll take care of the amounts, no need to worry about that.
It's so simple. I can't wait to keep my family in a secure block of ice. It's a weight off my mind.
Findless Cryogenics, now at your local spaceport.
Findless Cryogenics, because the family that grows old together goes cold together.
Galnet News Digest Review of the Year 3307. The Alliance was working away quietly during 3307, extending its influence diplomatically and expanding into areas with unique resources and xenological opponents. It continued its partnership with the Sirius Corporation, as did a rather unlikely newcomer to the diplomatic scene, Archon Delane, the Pirate King. It was Sim Guru Pranavantal of the Utopia Commune who came up with the idea of a galactic summit, but it was Li Yongrui and the Sirius Corporation that made it happen. Sirius offered a neutral place for galactic leaders to discuss, as the Sim Guru put it, the four dark horsemen: interstellar war, terrorism, alien incursion, and economic collapse. The great and good of galactic politics duly turned up for a month-long summit in Sirius. The great and the good did not include the Emperor, but she did send her Chancellor, Anders Blaine, Princess Aisling Duval, and Senator Denton Petraeus. The new Marlinist colonies sent First Minister Jenna Fairfax and Minister Aaron White, who would later lead the unsuccessful attempt to politicise the NMLA. President Hudson and Shadow President Winters both attended, as did the new Federal Ambassador to the Alliance, Jasmina Halsey. Winters did not invite Shadow Vice President Isolde Rochester to attend, in the wake of the arrest of her son, Jupiter. Prime Minister Edmund Mahon caused unrest in the Alliance by postponing the prime ministerial election for 3 months, so it would not coincide with the summit. For Mahon, the key talking point was Thargoids. The Alliance, more than any of the powers, had expanded into areas rich in Thargoid barnacle sites in order to harvest the Thargoid meta-alloys. And the Alliance, more than any of the powers, was suffering attacks by Thargoids. The only place it had not suffered attacks from Thargoids, despite their abundance there, was the California Nebula, which is a demonstration that if you only build outposts and surface bases, the Thargoids won't be any trouble at all. The most significant treaty signed at the summit was the Cornelius-Lasky Convention, by which the three superpowers agreed to share information about large-scale threats to civilization. Mahan hoped to build on this through his draft Sirius Treaty for increased cooperation against the Thargoid threat by revitalizing Aegis through proper funding. The treaty was never signed, following the abrupt ending to the summit a week earlier than planned. A surprise, and for some unwelcome visitor at the summit, was Archon Delane, head of the Kumo crew, widely believed to be a dread pirate and an all-round nasty piece of work. Some of the delegates' security details offered to dispose of Delane and his boarding party, only to be reminded by their host that all delegates were entitled to diplomatic immunity. Delane proclaimed that he wished to become a respected member of the trading community, and that he wanted to be known as King Kumo. The summit ended early because of the security crisis caused by the 9 Martyrs bombings on the 11th of March. However, both Mahan and Delane left the summit with the promise of closer cooperation with the Sirius Corporation. Sirius subsidiary, Sirius Atmospherics, had already assisted the Alliance expansion into the Muscadart region, but this was an opportunity for even further expansion. Archon Delane was first to benefit. Sirius assisted in building 5 new starports in locations as far apart as the California Nebula and Colonia. In each case, Sirius retained a presence in the newly commissioned stations, and there was at least a hint that the collaboration would go further. Early in July, a dredger owned and run by the Blue Viper Club turned up at one of the Kumo crew's new starports. They had developed a new wonder drug called Helix, and they wanted Delane to help them market it. Analysis of the drug showed that it was a new variant of the galaxy's narcotic of choice, Onion Head. This new easy-to-grow variant of Onion Head could be grown in specialised facilities in Anarchy systems around the galaxy, so it would not be a rare good. There were strong rumours that Sirius Logistics were behind the manufacture and distribution of this new drug, and that Delane was only the front man. But Sirius and the Kumo crew didn't get it all their own way. Once the Interstellar Health Organization had verified that Onion Head Gamma strain had genuine medicinal uses, Neo-Medical Industries won the right to manufacture and distribute the drug for medicinal use from several industrial economies in Alliance space. Regardless of its reason for purchase, Onion Head Gamma strain remains illegal in the Federation, Empire, and in some Alliance systems. It is known to be used widely for recreational purposes, including by wealthy and influential people in Federal and Imperial society. Before the Alliance could benefit from Sirius's helping hand, Mahan had first to win that delayed prime ministerial election. His opponent, Councillor Nakato Kane, believed that the Alliance should concentrate on the well-being of its core systems and should abandon its expansion into Thargoid territory. Had she won the election, then the Alliance might have withdrawn from the outlying nebula and from conflict with the Thargoids. But despite significant unrest in some Alliance systems caused by Mahan's questionable postponement of the election, members of the Alliance Assembly voted him in for a second term, the only serving Prime Minister ever to be re-elected. Apparently celebrating Mahan's victory, Sirius Corporation made a highly engineered, detailed surface scanner available for all to buy at human technology brokers across the galaxy. As with the pre-engineered frameshift drive that they financed at the end of February, Sirius may also have been courting the favour of independent commanders. Despite his electoral success, Mahan failed to get anything like enough financial backing from the market to build his 5 planned starports, receiving only just enough funding for one. So there was surprise when he announced the opening of 2 starports. Until, that is, it became apparent that Sirius Corporation hadn't just helped set up the second New Alliance starport, Prosperity Core. It had funded it entirely. In return, it benefited from a long-term presence at the starport. Marhan's opponents have suggested that the Prime Minister may have unfulfilled obligations to Sirius after this helping hand. Sirius may seem to be a generous benefactor to the Kumo crew and the Alliance, but it is also, slowly but surely, increasing its hold over the galaxy, and is close to becoming the fourth superpower.
Fuzzer! 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 Do the thing! Do the thing!
I'm gonna see the galaxy.
Geronimo! Ben, do you have anything to say about low sex? Nor, as everyone else likes to call it, the penis rocket.
Why not?
We're going to all give you a warm hand in your entrance.
Yeah, that butt clenching really was awesome.
Would be absolutely terrified of anything.
Sunday, I had a good time making a 10-year-old boy cry. Have you finished playing with your bunny?
Remember, this is the show where good ideas come to die. Greetings, Commanders, and welcome to episode 372 of Lave Radio, the show about the universe of Elite and the fantastic community that surrounds it. I'm your host, Commander Phoenix Defire, otherwise known as Colin Ford, Chief Archivist of Lave Station. And joining me in the orange Sidewinder bar for this episode, we have our Head of Health and Safety, Commander Aid Levice, otherwise known as Ben Moss Woodward.
Thank you, Captain Kirk, there, for that spectacular introduction.
You're welcome. We also have...
No, excuse me while I go off and shag a blue alien.
If it's gone blue, I'd worry.
As long as it's not... No.
No. We also have our Staff Liaison Officer, Commander Psychic.
Starting well, I see. Starting well. Cool. Great. Good.
Yeah, that was the problem there, Sayu. It's like, no.
Yeah, obviously blue. And we have our Inhuman Resources Commander Shan.
Hello. What we started 2 minutes into 2022, and the malarkey has started already.
Happy New Year.
I have a question for people going forward from this in this
Oh,
section.
Lord, we've got a first Shan question within 2 minutes as well.
No. It's a
First,
legitimate
first
question.
innuendo and
It's
first question.
what are your New Year's resolutions? This is so our listeners can keep track of this throughout the year.
Oh, Lord. Well, we'll come to that in a bit, I think.
I can do that very quickly.
Well,
my New Year's resolution is not to make a New Year's resolution because I think that's stupid.
There we go.
Yeah.
Now,
I've never made one, still not going to make one.
That's lazy, then.
No, it's just me.
Shall we carry on with the show then? Now, if you wish, you can join us live. We're hanging out in open. We have Commander Edelweiss, the Chris Mark IV, and Psyche all on the stream tonight. So you can follow what they're up to there. If you can't get to us in game, obviously join the Twitch chat channel, which you can access through laveradio.com/live. Click on the live chat. You can also go to twitch.tv/laveradio, or you can go to YouTube, look for Lave Radio, or even Facebook and look for Lave Radio. So we're going to go around the teams, see what they've been up to, and also, as Shan is that interested, let's have some New Year's resolutions, whether you like them or not. We'll start with Commander Psyche. How have you been?
Hello. I've been good, thanks. I was cow surprise. I was ill over like the day after Christmas, right up until like New Year's Day. I've not been very well. I've been like sleeping for 17 hours a day, so I clearly needed it. But yeah, I'm all good. All good. I also have not made any New Year's resolutions. I have decided not to, and have instead decided to make vague goals in the hopes that I may achieve some goals. But they're mostly like content related and all of that sort of nonsense, you know. But other than that, doing well.
Yes.
Yeah, and testing to see whether how well my laptop copes with streaming to the server, and apparently it seems to be doing all right at the moment. But knock on wood, hopefully it's fine. It's got better frames than my big computer rig, so I'm a little disappointed. Not gonna lie.
I hate to point this out. You're in an adder.
I know. I'm in an Apex.
Oh, sorry.
I'm in an Apex on my way to Lave because I've not brought my hotels upstairs. Jeez.
Right. Commander Shan, how have you been in a Happy New Year?
Thank you very much. How have I been? Managed to recover after the logistical pain that was Christmas. We had about 4 Christmases, one after the other, because of the mini Shans wanting to go and do mini Shan things with various girlfriends and places. So we had to leave sufficient time for them to go and do their thing and still get a negative test result before having elderly parents and grandparents around. And we had to have them on separate days. So it's a bit of a logistical nightmare. So yeah, it was kind of like Christmas lasted the nearly the full 2 weeks, rather than condensing it into one day. And next year, we Mrs. Shan and I are going to go to New Zealand for Christmas and leave everyone else in the snow and the rain and the drizzle because we're fed up of being Christmas now. So bah humbug. New Year's resolutions. Well, this year I am going to be kind and considerate and gentle to everyone in the Elite Dangerous universe. In other words, be my normal self.
And how long is it going to be until you break that? Does this include NPCs?
Of course, it doesn't include what? If you can't kill an NPC, then how on earth are you going to get your combat rank up?
You
That
could.
is a good point.
You could hug people to death, or you could do non-killing missions. Maybe you could be an Amazon delivery driver or something.
I think I'd rather drive an Apex shuttle. I think.
Isn't your combat rank elite, and anything higher doesn't count?
Well, I've got 3 other commanders I could probably do with putting some combat rank on, just for the sake of it. But no, I'm going to try and more balance and less naughty this year, I think.
This week.
This week. There's a
Um,
Freudian slip.
so yeah, it's been all right actually. I'm still
Yeah.
on holiday for another week. I am currently in the bunker at the moment though, because eldest mini Shan tested positive a couple of days ago.
Ooh.
He just got a sniffle and stuff, and he's got all the vaccines and so have I and stuff. So it's not a question of being worried; it's just a pain. And to be fair, I think everyone's going to get it at some point. So I'm kind of figuring you're better to get it while your vaccine's new and fresh out of the pot, rather than trying to run away and hide until the middle of the year when it might not be as fresh. So we'll see.
Yeah. That's an interesting. It looks like everyone's going to have Corona parties this time. Once you've got on
Well, it's
once
an
you've got your triple
interesting
jab.
research. It's interesting research has been published that seems to indicate that if you get Omicron, it protects you against Delta as well. But if you get Delta, it doesn't protect you as much against Omicron. So if you're going to get COVID, just like chicken pox when you're a kid, go to someone who's got Omicron, and then
How do you know what variant you've got?
the symptoms are subtly different.
Okay. So if you got a headache, you got Omicron. If you haven't, you've got Delta.
Well, I guess if you end up in hospital on a machine, you've probably got Delta.
Charming.
Yeah, that's one way of looking. Oh, you've ended up with Moderna. Um, not bitter about that one at all. Ben, what have you been up to for the last?
Yeah. So I am currently COVID positive, but you can't catch that over the internet, so we're okay. It just feels like I got a bit of a cold, to be honest, and a bit of a headache, bit of a blech.
So who did you get it from? Do you know?
Well, the route I am about 90-something% positive I got it from is on Christmas Day. My son came down with on Christmas Eve. My son came down with COVID, and my Christmas Day involved let's walk with my son down to the PCR testing center, stay the hell out of everybody's way while I try to avoid getting anything and let him get his PCR tests. He gets his PCR test, then we walk all the way back home again, because of course it's Christmas Day. There's no way for us to get there apart from walking, but that's fine. It's about a 2-mile walk, so it's fine. So that was a lovely Christmas Day walk for my son and I. Then on 27th, 28th, something like that, my wife came down with it, and at that point I'd basically reached the conclusion, okay, she's got it, we're all gonna get it now, basically. But I still hadn't got anything. I was still coming up negative. Then my daughter got it, and at that point my wife was like, you're still negative, you're meant to be working in a couple of days' time, get the hell down to Birmingham, because you ain't going to be able to work while everyone's here, whilst everybody's here with COVID. So I got the hell down to Birmingham, still negative. What is the 4th today? And then then my son got it on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. My son came down with it, and then yesterday, late Sunday, I was feeling and then yesterday I was starting to feeling but I used up all of my COVID tests, seeing am I still positive? Am I positive? Am I negative? And then today I eventually got a COVID test through the post, and found out about 5 o'clock or so today that I was like, yay! I've got 2 marks too. Aren't I lucky?
I can sell you some COVID tests if you want, Ben.
It's okay. I've now got 14. Well, I've got 7, and I've got another 7 coming.
50 quid for lateral flow, 200 quid for PCR.
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
it's okay. So that's been that. Other things I've been doing, and this is where I've been to see Spider-Man with my kids. I went to see Matrix Revolutions and another 15 film that was out over Christmas. It was good as well, but I can't remember what it was now. Oh, that's it. Kingsman.
Oh yeah.
Went to see Matrix. So I saw Matrix Revolution, Kingsman, saw Spider-Man, and then yesterday because I was feeling a bit blur, I found out on Sunday that Loose Screws have a Minecraft server. So I've been playing Minecraft with Loose Screws. So that's been nice.
Oh yeah, my film of the year was Don't Look Up, which you should watch after Death to 2021. So watch Death to 21 after Don't Look Up.
Yeah, that's probably going to be a good one. Played much games then?
Played Minecraft.
Just Minecraft then?
Yeah. Oh, played Minecraft. I did. I tried getting into a little bit of Elite, but it's just like the energy levels are basically low.
Yes.
And I wasn't really wanting to fly around, and just sort of I could fly around a station, yay, you know what I mean. If I was going to play Elite, I wanted to do something. And then so what else have I done? So it's been Minecraft and RimWorld. I mean, actually, I've got. I also watched on the Mouse Plus. There's a Will Smith nature show, which is very good.
Oh, is that the On This Earth or something like that?
Yeah. But that was. It's very, very pretty, but it's also very, very good. It's just a nice. It's a nice show. Well, with good watch and it's nice and it's sort of the pretty's got my kids sort of watching it as well, which is always good.
Excellent. Shan is asking you, Ben, if you've brought all the toilet rolls.
I've got all the toilet rolls and he's not getting them back.
Well, there we go. I like this. Commander Lennon in the chat says, yes, Escape to Birmingham, the lesser-known Kurt Russell movie. Dear. Anyway, let's have a quick think. Well, obviously Christmas is out the way. I've been playing an awful lot of Elite. We went to see the Ford family tradition, which was to go to the Manchester Panto.
Oh no, you didn't.
Oh yes, I did, and it was yes. And I'm there thinking, listening to all those Panto innuendos and going, God, this is just like Tuesday night, really. And that it was actually quite good. It got nothing to do with the story that it was supposed to tell, but yes. And let's see, I played an awful lot of Elite, and back at work today. Shan, go on. You got a question, have you?
Out of interest, the innuendos and the tongue-in-cheek humour of the panto, had it been adjusted for modern society, or was it just as offensive as what it was
Traditional
in the olden days?
Traditional. For some reason, there was an awful lot of jokes about sort of work gatherings.
Oh, so Peppa Pig with a blonde mop of hair didn't turn up?
No, but there was a Manchester genie, which, just had to be seen to be believed. Ben, you've also got a question about Panto for some reason.
It's not actually
no, he doesn't. I'm so sorry.
You're right, Si. I don't have a question about Panto. I listened. One of the things I have done was listen to a dramatization of the Brothers Grimm version of Sleeping Beauty.
It's not as nice as you think it is it? It's not Disney.
Really, there ain't no Disney in there. But it was a really good dramatization of the story that we all think we know.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I wanted something a bit Christmassy, and I was I'll let the kids listen into this as well.
Yes, that's a bit like traumatizing your children, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it wasn't massive traumatization. It was sort of. I don't know how close to the original Brothers Grimm version the dramatization was, but it was very much sort of like about Princess Aurora, who was basically stolen from her her mother after her mother was was it prima noctis or something like that with the king? Basically the king comes along and says, "I'm the king, therefore your wife is going to have sex with me. Deal with it."
Oh, right. Yes. There's a
Yeah.
French term for that, but I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, and then then basically, that your daughter there, yoink, she's mine.
Mm-hmm.
And then her biological mother then turns to the dark arts, trying to get her daughter back, but her sister puts everyone to sleep. So it was different from Disney, probably different from original Brothers Grimm 2, but I don't know. Yes, Shan.
The Sleeping Beauty you just described sounds like the Jeremy Kyle version.
Possibly it was.
Well, you've got to remember that the old fairy tales, the old Brothers Grimm fairy tales, they were all really warnings, and sort of the evil wolf normally did win in most cases.
Yeah.
In these fairy tales, Little Red Riding Hood did not end up very nice with a nice ending. So yeah. Anyway, we shall move on from fairy tales to development news, I think.
Oh, no, we didn't.
Oh,
sorry.
For goodness sake. Oh, yes, we will. Anyway, that subject we've just had, it's behind us. Now, development news. What has been said this week? Well, obviously not much. We haven't had much in the way of... well, I think all the CMs have been on holiday since the last episode. So there's not much coming. We do know that Update 10 will be coming sometime in January. Not quite so sure when, but that's it. That's all we know is that something, Update 10, will be coming. They said early January. However, oh no, it won't. Says Shan, yes. So we'll have to wait and see. We do have some good news on the player numbers front from Steam charts. The average player numbers are now up 35% from the low point in September. So they've improved vastly, and peak player numbers are now at their highest levels since June last year. Now, admittedly, this could be because everyone wants their free arcs, and there's lots of other things to do. I think, yeah, there's. It's nice to see these things. How long did they stay on for? What do you mean? How long did they stay on for? We've got no way of knowing how long people stay on for.
Well, as you said, it could just be 3 arcs, or they browsed all the amazing paint jobs that were for sale in the store alerts. And they said just did some browsing and thought, oh, okay, and then logged off again. So
Well,
there's a lot of difference between just logging on for a token, arcs, and actually playing the game. And yes, you've got no way of showing, but
no, we've
I
got
was
no
just
way of showing.
asking the question.
However, I will say that I have seen a lot more hollow squares and unfortunately some hollow triangles as well flying around some of the places. So yeah, it does feel busier. Not as we're nowhere near the dizzy heights of May or just before May, but it's nice to see the curve uptick, if you see what I mean. And finally, these are the features that we know are coming. These are the things that they've confirmed. We know that there's going to be an update 10 and an update in 11. We know that fleet carrier interiors are coming. There is some kind of new base defense mode or defense mission, which they've mentioned. There are going to be new mission updates. So that there's from these new mission providers and all the rest of it that comes with it, continued optimization and bug fixes, and the development updates, which is the thing which happens at the end of the month where Arth posts a whole load of information about what's coming in the next release and what they're still working on. Those will be returned to normal at the end of this month. So that's that's what a normal development update is these days. That's pretty standard.
And did they say that Super Cruise News, is that going to be still bi-weekly, or haven't they announced the schedule
They
for that yet?
haven't said anything more about that. The only thing they have announced was the fact that the development updates will be returning to normal at the end of January. And normally,
Didn't they? Sorry.
Go on.
Didn't they say at the end of the year? I don't know exactly when it was, but didn't they say? I'm sure Zach mentioned about they were looking to do maybe less frequent, longer form content.
Oh.
I'm sure I saw that somewhere, or I heard that on one of the streams, that it was more like I'm kind of half expecting them to say we're gonna do like 2-3 hours every other week, something like that. That would be my expectation.
What, cutting down on maybe one stream a week instead of two?
Yeah, like doing like just a Thursday night, but making it slightly longer. Well, like double the length. Because they always run over anyway, so they may as well say, look, we're going to have a 2-hour stream or even a 3-hour stream, but it's only going to be on a Thursday night. And then at least that saves the team from having to do 2 streams a week. Because for a small team, that's quite a lot of work for over one game when they are spread over multiple games.
Go on, Shan.
I think I'd be okay with that on reflection. Although I would say it would depend on the content of the extra long stream. I mean, if it's 3 hours of them playing the game, then I probably would wish it was an hour and a half. Not being rude, but you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So if they put the effort into combining into one stream, I think that could be a good thing, because it is easier to find time to go watch it for an evening a week than trying to find it time for 2 evenings a week.
Yeah, I mean that is one issue I think some people do complain about, is the fact that Tuesday stream happens when a lot of people are at work, so they can't join in, and basically they just do a catch up, and you know some of the things that some of the things that are said people miss, because obviously the Tuesday stream is supposed to be the stream when they announce new stuff.
I personally would prefer it if they had it at lunchtime on Tuesday.
Yeah,
they used to, didn't they?
They
Didn't they
always
used to do it like
always
at 12?
used to be. Yeah, it used to be 12 till 1. I mean, Ed Lewis, God rest his soul.
He's not dead.
He is to Shan.
Yeah, totally.
He's
Anyway,
not Jinx, he's just working for Bethesda.
so he's a zombie then. But anyway, yeah, no, being serious for a minute, I preferred it for lunchtime, 12 till 1 or 1 till 2, simply because it was easier to fit your day, and also it was a nice break from doing some work during the day. You think, oh, I can finish at 12. I can have a lunch, watch the stream, and then carry on with my work and with the rest of the day. So I preferred it lunchtime. Where it is now, it's either right at the end of my day when I'm trying to get enough done by the end of the day, or I'm having to cook dinner or something like that. So I always end up missing it.
Yeah. Well, we'll just have to wait and see what's going to be announced, because we haven't seen a single CM basically since before Christmas. So all I can assume is everybody's still on holiday, and there'll probably be people coming back to work sometime this week, and we'll probably find out things later on. So
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah,
They
maybe
deserve
by
a break.
Thursday.
Watch them change their date to be the time that they do it will be like 7 o'clock in the evening on a Tuesday. That's 100% what we're gonna get.
One finish at 8:29, so we have no time to cover it at all.
Absolutely. We'll probably finish at like 9:30, something like that. So it's like right in the middle of the show, so we can't even discuss it.
Yeah, but then again, if they could send all their followers this way, that would be nice.
Well, we've got half an hour of the show left.
We've got half an hour of the show left. That would be the nice bit, I suppose. Anyway, so let's look at what's been happening in game over Christmas. Well, obviously, the Winking Cat giveaway has given away tons of stuff, including new ships. If you went through it, has anybody not done the Winking Cat thing?
I didn't bother. I've got enough of a cat at the moment, winking or otherwise. Did it give away free adders, Colin? Do you know what did the winking cat give away?
Imperial couriers and vultures. No adders. You'll be relieved to hear. Well, I'm relieved to hear, actually. I do
You
believe
can't be
that-
much of a thief if you couldn't give away adders.
and let's have a look. So obviously, Ben, you're actually working through this at the moment, are you?
I am. I found out from Sai, much to my surprise, that the second one is still going. So I was like, you know what? During the show today, I'll go and see what I can see. So I'm currently in orbit around Meter and Holland, Meter and Hollow.
Yep.
Trying to get my thing working. Although I think Chris has got me and Psykit, I think, our streams mixed up. Because I think he's got Psykit in orbit around Meter and Hollow.
Don't cross them.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know what he's doing, but he's doing something.
Yeah.
I actually thought he'd he'd had a pause on my. No, that is my stream. I'm confused now.
See,
I'm very confused.
Lave Radio, where you don't cross the streams, you just confuse the streams.
Yeah, could be Psychic's actually going in, but it says I'm still at Jameson Memorial, and I left Jameson Memorial absolutely ages ago. So either Chris, you've got the names wrong, or B, you need to refresh my stream, mate. I'm
Just do a Spartacus and rename everyone Heads of Ice on the stream.
We're all Spartacus. Yeah, that's possible too.
Right, so the Winking Cat rewards, which were announced on the 24th, 25th, and 26th, they're still valid, and they'll be going away quite soon, I would have thought.
I was surprised when I found out they're available. So yeah, come and get them today if you can, I guess.
Yeah.
Thursday they'll go away.
Yeah, you can only pick them up once, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, thought so. Unfortunately, I've got one. I've got my my power play commander is nowhere near any other places and hasn't got a ship good enough to get there quickly. So I'm going to have to miss out on there with a power play commander. My standard commander has got them all already, and I hate to say it, but my poor explorer isn't coming back 6,000 light years just to get 7,000 light years now just to get some extra goodies. So yes, Galnet apologized for the fact that the Winking Cat managed to infiltrate their feed yet again. Go on, Shan, you got a question about cats?
Well, not about makes of cats, but in terms of the ships, etc., the Winking Cat's been giving away. Can you get a free ship and then sell it for the same amount as you would have bought it for, or is it like the Imperial Eagle or the Eagle that you got given at Kickstarter when you tried to sell it, you didn't actually get any money for it?
Well, you just got a standard Eagle with the Kickstarter, but no, they are zero cash rated, which, to tell you the truth, is brilliant because when you think about it, you can actually just load it up with weapons, and basically, the rebuy is just the weapons. So you could have people PvPing with these new ships and it not costing them a fortune.
Well, to be fair, money's almost worthless. So a couple of years ago, it would have been brilliant. I'm not actually sure in the AX world whether the Imperial ships are actually any good or not. Because I think if you're doing the AX stuff, having a low rebuy would probably be quite useful.
Yeah, I will say that the Imperial Clipper is absolutely fantastic against scouts. Put a couple of turrets on it, and it's great, especially because you can just outrun everything with it. But yeah, I will take your point that trying to take on a Thargoid with a cutter that's a challenge, because basically your ship doesn't turn that quick.
Also, if the cat was a real master thief, he would be giving away free anacondas.
If he was a real master thief, he would have broken into David Braben's office and got us the coordinates for Raxler.
Nah.
I'm going to agree with Chris here that he wants the winking cat to give us an anaconda out of an orbital.
Well, you know that the problem is first of all, those ships cost 100 credits, and secondly, you'll only get them when they build the large landing pad, which for some reason seems to have been stuck in red tape for the last, I don't know how long.
Blame COVID for it, the delay.
Right. Moving on on the first, we've had a Galnet retrospective for the year, which came out the 28th, 29th, and there was a little bit of a mix-up because it seems like Part 3 came out on the 2nd of January and Part 4 came out on New Year's Eve. So I think someone just pressed the wrong button there. Also on the 1st, the Duvals gathered for New Year's, minus the Emperor, and they were all cooing over the latest addition to the Duval line, all calling him the future Emperor. The Alliance and Sirius Corporation have now signed a defense pact as of today. And a whistleblower has revealed that there could be an Imperial link to the NMLA. It seems that the Imperials use a dark matter network similar to the NMLA to send covert messages to one another. Or is it to spy on their citizens? You know, a bit like the way that the Federation is spying on their citizens. Shan?
I'm not sure about that because it's a bit like saying, oh no, the Russians use radio, therefore the Americans must be Russian spies. You know, it just kind of, yeah, I'm not sure similarity of technology means similarity of origin.
Yeah. I put, as far as Lave Radio is concerned, I still think that I like the idea of putting a bar next to Hutton Orbital called the Free Sidewinder. The Free Anaconda, rather. So, you know, that way there is the Free Anaconda at Hutton Orbital. Right. So, we have had quite a lot of interesting things happen so far, but it's that time of the week and first one of the year.
Store alert! In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art. In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art.
And welcome back. What's new in the store? Nothing. However, you do have 6 days to get in the Chrome ships you are missing. The Chrome ships normally go for about 5,520 arcs. Chrome SRVs go for 3,250 arcs. And there's quite a lot of gold skins as well, which has nothing to do with Bedaho. Let's see if anybody else gets that reference. So, has anybody got any ships left that they want to get chromatized?
Probably. I haven't bought any this year, and I really wanted the Phantom, and I should really go and put some. I should really #buy arcs and go and get the Phantom.
Go and get the Phantom. Well, wasn't your free arcs running up to Christmas enough?
Mate, I spent all of that on the Scorp paint jobs and everything else, and a snowman.
I forgot to get my Scott paint job.
Yikes!
I'm still
I
running
know.
around like a snowman. Mostly because I haven't had a chance to take my costume off, but you know.
Yeah, I've still got the Christmas jumpers,
Mhm.
and of course the Winking Cat gave you Christmas jumpers
We
as
got
well.
a green Christmas jumper from the Winking Cat. Yeah.
Yes, that was useful. I must admit, I do like uh, the chromed ones, which are different from the chrome, because of course the chrome ones were originally given away as a once-off offer, but the chromed ones, which look very similar, are the ones that come back every year.
I know I prefer I like both of them, but I like with the old gold ones rather than the
Mhm.
golden ones, that depending on the look, it can either look really, really crazy golden or it
Yeah.
can look almost black.
Yeah, it all
And
depends on where
I
they
like
are.
that, yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of there's actually a couple of complaints on the forum saying that they want those old paint jobs back, but again, it's back to this legal issue that they were given
Not gonna
away as
happen.
exclusive, or they were bought as exclusive offers at the time, and yeah, that kind of is a bit. Sometimes I do wonder whether or not they've gone and painted themselves into a corner, if you see what I mean.
I think they've learned their lesson, which is why they're not doing that kind of thing anymore.
Yeah, you only have to mention it, the Cobra Mark IV,
Yeah.
and it just
It
the
just elicits dev tears.
yes, it's not dev tears. It's basically anybody who didn't get a Cobra Mark IV.
Well, that is too.
Yes. So I mean, I must admit, I was looking through some of the cosmetics, and I must admit, I was there looking at the cost of some of the things for rifles,
Mm.
and realizing that's almost double the price of one of the ships.
Oh yeah.
And I'm there going, ugh.
It's all that fine job, that fine work. That's the stuff that costs some money. You know that, right?
The fine work, eh?
Yeah, the fine work, the fine line work that they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I probably will buy one at some point, but I don't think it that much. That much of arcs. Shan, you've got something you want
Yeah,
to
I
talk
was just
about with the
thinking
gold
about
stuff.
the gold and the chrome stuff. I mean, I haven't got them for all my ships because I tend to apply what I see as a rule to buying them is that if it's a combat ship or a combat SRV, I just don't see the point in having it bright and shiny gold or chrome. I mean, it's like wearing a red coat and when you're a soldier, it's just kind of like saying, "Please shoot at me." So I'd much rather have a black combat ship or camouflage than a bright shiny one. However, if it's an exploration ship, I can see why an exploration ship would be shiny for heat reflection, etc., etc. So I try and apply those rules to the paint jobs. So things like the gold and chrome scorpions. My personal view is why would I want it more visible? I want it as So I
You
can see
want
how
it
people would
sandy
like
if
it.
you're in a certain sandy type world. You're on land on a desert planet, then you want a sandy SRV,
Well,
really.
for exploration SRVs, I make them orange because if you look at Antarctic vehicles and stuff, they're all painted bright orange. You see, so I make them orange. Cutters, I do make an exception because it's not really a combat ship, but also it's bling and imperial, so I guess it should be as shiny as possible.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with it. I mean, I have on one of my clippers the iridescent purple, and that makes that ship look absolutely beautiful in the lighting. Yeah, I must admit, ever since I think the Odyssey lighting upgrade happened, it's now looking better than it does in Horizons, and that's only on mid. So I'm quite impressed with with some of the paint jobs. There's still some bugs with others, though. I think they're working their way through them to try and resolve them, because I've heard other podcasts are available talk about problems with their Corvette and so on. I mean, Psychic, you're a Corvette fan. I mean, are you having issues with the skins on your Corvette?
I've had ever since I bought the Corvette, my 4 Corvettes, every single one of them has got Predator Crimson on, and it's never changed. So I wouldn't be able to confirm or deny whether there's any problems.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think it is one of the. It's the shiny ones that people have got problems with, apparently. So, although I must admit, I have come across models where the engines are in the wrong place and all those kind of things. So, I do believe, Psychic, you've also bought weapon skins, haven't you?
Obviously, Colin.
I think Shan.
It sounds like a big surprise. Oh wow, Psychic brought pink skins for weapons. Who knew that would happen?
Shan was asking which one of us has actually bought skins for the weapons.
Oh, hello, me.
Yes.
Hey, you brought 4, didn't you, Ben?
Did I?
Yeah, 4.
I've got a feeling you're trying to slag me off about something, but if you are, then you're.
He's talking about 4 skins. He wants you to say 4 skins because penis and funny.
Oh.
I can't believe that yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe you went there, to be honest.
Well, I'm even more surprised Ben didn't pick up and run with it, to be fair, but you know.
Shan, I am not going to pick up and run with a foreskin. I don't swing that way.
Right. Well, we're going to move on from that. Although I must admit, I think the sound tech is going to pick up and Psychic going because penis.
Good.
Is that going to be next week's title then, or something?
I think that's what's going to be today's title. Yes, and we're not.
No,
on
the reason why I was being
Amazon's
serious,
spaceships.
the reason why I asked about the weapon skins is, again, this is my personal kind of shopping mentality. Is that the purpose for me buying a skin for a ship is so others can see it and think, oh, that ship looks really cool. But the weapon skins just tend to not be as visible. And so why would I spend lots of money on something that isn't going to be visible, if you see what I mean? So that's my personal issue with the weapon skins.
So you say that, but on an FDev live stream at some point, I went along with my pink weapon skins as much so as I am, and it was commented on. So people do see them.
Can I actually just ask a quick question, not about weapon skins or things, but about these? I'm at Meter and Hollow. I'm
Yes.
actually crashed ship. I see a comms control and I see a data core site. I've scanned them both, and I got nothing.
Are you at the right crash ship?
Yeah, because there's a lot of.
I'm at the only crash ship.
What are your
I'm at crash site threat 1. Yeah, there are.
No,
yeah,
these ones
if it's
don't
got a
have
threat, it won't be one.
Yeah,
Right.
It's crash ship you want, not crash site.
Actually,
okay. I'm at the wrong one then. Thank you.
Yeah. If you look on the left-hand side next to the icons listed next to the crash sites, one of them will be an exploration icon, and all the others will be salvage. You want the exploration one.
Oh, okay. So is the exploration icon the one that's a little star?
Yeah, kind of like a planet or a star or something.
Like a planet or something. Yes.
Yes.
I did not know this.
Yeah, you see, these are the things that we can tell you. Although we could have actually kept that for the
The Muppet of the Week or whatever it is.
Yeah, the Muppet.
Oh, you spoilt it now. You could have watched Ben meander around several thousand kilometres on the surface trying to
Shan,
find one.
Shan, can you remember your thing what you do at the beginning of a year that nobody pays any attention to? That you said you were going to pay attention to?
Yes, but I didn't say I did it. I said, well, you could do it. That's mean someone else.
I
think he's lawyering his way out.
I think he is.
Yes. Right. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to take a ad break, and then we'll come back with our first main discussion of the year.
We buy any ship.
Bar none.
We buy any ship.
Bar none. Any model, any colour, any shape, any size.
We buy any ship.
Bar none. We here at We Buy Any Ship Bar None are ready to take your excess space travel vehicles off your hands. No more negotiating with dodgy space station vendors. We'll simply give you an estimated quote online. Then, when you get here, we'll point out all the little dents and scratches that make the price get smaller and smaller before we actually give you any money. And the beauty is, we take any ship.
We buy any ship.
Bar none. Terms and conditions apply. We Buy Any Ship excludes trading in any of the following vehicles: Adder, Anaconda, Asp, Boa, Cobra, Constrictor, Cruisers, Eagle, Falcon, Gecko, Griffin, Gear, Harris, Harrier, Hawk, Kestrel, Crate, Lanners, Lifters, Lions, Mantis, Merlin, Moray, Osprey, Panther, Puma, Python, Saker, Sidewinder, Skeet, Spar, Stowmaster, Tearsel, Tiger, Transporter, Turner, Viper, Wyvern, or any Imperial or Thargoid vessels.
This is a public service announcement from the Fuel Rats. Please stop what you're doing and pay attention. If we can rescue you, we will, but you can help us help you by following these easy steps. 1. Fly 50 light seconds or so from the system's main star and drop out of Supercruise. 2. Note down the current system and the nearest stellar body. 3. If you're on emergency life support, log out immediately. 4. Go to fuelrats.org and click Get Help. 5. Stay calm, hold your breath, and let our seasoned professionals do what they do best. The Fuel Rats. We have fuel, you don't. Any questions?
I was overseeing the delivery of some slaves to the starport in Exios, and a cleaning robot had just washed the floor, but not left a warning sign. I had to run after a slave that was escaping, and I slipped and fractured my wrist. I was delayed for 10 whole minutes while the Medicomp repaired the damage. My time is billable. Can I get compensation?
Yes, you can.
I was on a regular trading run back to Sol, and it was my job to repaint the outside of the ship. I was given the wrong kind of EVA clamps. Nothing bad actually happened, but it did give me a fright. Can I get compensation?
Yes, you can.
I was checking some robots through customs when I distinctly heard an official call the robots clanks. I was deeply offended, even though I'm not a robot myself. That's their word. You're not allowed to use it. Can I claim for moral outrage?
Yes, you can. At Cowell and McGrath, we are now taking any kind of legal action. No case too small, no justification too frivolous. If you've been lightly inconvenienced, embarrassed, or in any way put out, then someone should be made to give you money. Don't be a stupid clank.
Excuse me?
Cowell and McGrath. Taking on any case, playing the percentages.
And welcome back. Well, for our main discussion tonight, we've kind of got two parts, but obviously the first part of this discussion is going to be what I can only say is the blindingly obvious. What are you hoping for in Elite in 2022? Now, I have to preface this and say it has to be kind of realistic. So I'm afraid to say stuff like ship interiors and on-foot VR. I don't think they'll be able to get them in this year. If they do, it will surprise me, pleasantly surprise me, but I don't see that happening. But I will start with start with Ben and see what would you like to see them do this year.
You're wanting this to be realistic. That's the problem.
I know. Sorry.
Realistically, there's the things I'm wanting are exactly are things that I don't think Frontier are going to do, because of various reasons, and the things that I think they're going to do are things I don't particularly care about.
Okay.
So so long as realistically, what I want Frontier to do this year is not fuck up the game and make it worse. They can add in all the features they want, and there might be a feature that I approve of, but so long as they don't go breaking anything, I'll be happy. Because what they've got's good.
Yes. Right. Fair enough. That's nice and easy.
Like me. Sorry.
You will be. Psychic.
Hello.
Hello. Not a loaded question at all, but what is your opinions on this matter?
Well, what would I like?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a case of what can you reasonably expect? No.
I would very much like more frames, please.
More frames.
More frames, please. Thank you.
Mhm.
What I would also like, is a very successful fleet carrier interior launch where people enjoy the little private areas that are designed to be private for other commanders, or the ones that you're supposed to be able to have like your it's like your little mess area, that kind of thing on the on that. I think that would be very good for reasons of if people, I really feel like that is going to be the barometer as to whether Frontier are going to even explore the possibility of fleet carrier interiors. If nobody uses those like special areas, I don't think that they're even going to bother. And they must have some metric of being able to monitor that.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be an idea of where footfall's going to go, isn't there? Shan.
Where do
Your
I?
turn.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I think realistically, what I would like them to do in 2022. I mean, to be fair, I couldn't care less about carrier interiors. That's just kind of another menu for me. But what I would like them to do is I would like them to look at the engineering balance for suits and weapons, so the way they are produced. I'd also want them to have a look at the combat mechanics to try and make it more than just a DPS race. And I'd probably look at being able to do more things in the exploration side. So yes, we've got the sampler, but maybe you can get additional materials. For example, if you go out and you use your sampler on a rock or something different to that. So I'm trying not to push the boat out too far, but yeah, I'm not so much looking for content. It's more in-depth variation and balance of what we've already got, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, there was a whole load of suggestions about being able to harvest the plants into mats or even commodities and things like that. I mean, I think that would actually add a lot more to exploration. But I know where you're coming from with that. I mean, it's quite limiting because we've said the word realistically. Because if we sort of said something along the lines of what would you like for Elite Dangerous in 2022, everyone would have said, right, we want full VR, we want ship interiors, and we want to be able to land on better planets, please. Which always seems to be the same.
I'd quite like a hover bike.
Hover bike, yes.
Yeah, I'm all for. I've been asking for a speeder bike since Horizons came out, so yay.
Go on, Shan.
Well, I mean, there's the cynic realistically, which basically says they'll keep everything as it is and they'll just get it working correctly they'll bug fix it basically. And then the optimist realistically that says maybe we'll get the sort of things that we've just mentioned. So the reality is probably somewhere in the middle, I suspect.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're actually being quite optimistic because there are gaming journalists that I've been following. They all reckon that Elite will just go into maintenance mode after after this next set of updates, and that's going to be it. Now we've had conversations with Arf and company that we at least know that the plot is continuing, and they've had meetings about the plot extending after these current storylines are finished. So at least we know that's going to be happening. Yeah, people did say that with Beyond, and I'm afraid to say, in a way, they were right because there was a content drought, wasn't there?
Yeah, but the content drought was like entirely different to what we're experiencing now. And I don't think I genuinely feel like while they're still optimizing, they're going to keep pushing out these patches, you know. And let's face it, the main goal is, and this might raise some disdain, but the main goal is to get old gen consoles playing Elite Dangerous, which is what they've always said that it is. Until that is the case, they have to keep pushing out the patches onto PC.
Yep.
Because we're effectively testing it for them, you know?
Yeah, and I think I agree with you on that. I mean, I'm wanting to see the consoles online as soon as possible. And we'll probably touch on the console issue in a minute because there's this part B is all about consoles, guys. So if you want to strap in for that one, yeah, Shan, you wanted to respond to Psychic there.
Yes, I was thinking about when people were saying, "Oh, it's in maintenance mode with Beyond." I think that's a little disingenuous with Beyond, and it's not specifically directed at Sai, of course, but it was just around what Sai was saying. Is that you have to remember, Beyond, we knew it was about reworking what was already there to improve and/or fix it, and that was always the stated goal of Beyond. So for me, that's not a content drought. It's not a content drought if you rework stuff to make it work better. That's not
Right,
a
okay.
content drought for me.
Shan, that's my fault. I wasn't on about what was happening when Beyond was being produced. I was on about the content drought before fleet carriers arrived.
Right. Okay. Well, I was actually talking about the people who said, "Oh, it's in maintenance mode because of Beyond." Blah blah blah. So it was more a response to them than anyone here, I guess. But
Yeah.
I understood with Beyond it was going to be nothing new other than the odd little bit because it was reworking what was already there. So if is Odyssey going into maintenance mode, if, for example, they add the balance and the engineering stuff, no, I don't think so at all.
Yeah. I mean, let's see. What was realistically I would like to see? Well, this is actually, I think it's been mentioned before. Obviously, I would like to see the console releases catch up. I would hope that they do have on-foot Thargoid combat coming at some point, because I think that would be a good shot in the arm for people. And also, I think the main thing that I really want is actually better mission integration. So that means missions which involve having to do something in your ship as well as something on your foot. That kind of something on foot as well as something in cockpit. Because I think that it needs to bring the two modes of the game need to be brought together more. Apart from that, from what I've seen so far, I'm quite happy with the progress. But yeah, I think that is my one big bugbear that I'd like to see more of. So yeah, let's go around the team again and just quickly say, what would you really want? If money was no object and they had a magic developer who could just god developer who could just create stuff. We'll start with Ben again.
ship interiors for everything, including stuff to do on them. For example, fixing your ship, combat on board the ships, as I've said all the way since back in 2013, I want to play Grand Theft Spaceship.
Yeah. There was a discussion on the forums, which I thought was quite good. They were saying, what would people prefer? Would they prefer one big upgrade, or would they prefer ship interiors to be bought via things like ARCs, where you have DLCs, which you
God no.
Decoration, yes.
Yes. Yeah, completely on decoration, but we need. Is this version? Are we calling Odyssey 4? Or is Odyssey 5? So, Horizons was Elite Dangerous 2.
Yeah.
Beyond Elite Dangerous 3. I guess is the after Beyond, is that 3? Is that 4 or 3.5?
I think, to tell you the truth, until we get Odyssey, I think that's 4. Let's call it.
Okay, so we're calling Odyssey 4, are we?
Yeah, we're calling Odyssey Elite Dangerous 4, to be honest.
Okay. Then, if for Elite Dangerous 5, we could get all the ship combat, all the ship interiors, plus stuff to do in it, plus reasons to do it, plus social things. That, obviously tying in with missions and all that kind of stuff. And ideally, there's so much potential in that. And also, as we've seen, there might be, let's try this code at least. Give us EVAs as well. Let me. I've always wanted to disable someone's ship and actually pirate the damn thing.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's a fair enough assumption of where we'd like it to go.
Yeah.
But do you agree that when you put your developer's head on, how much work do you reckon that is? Because I reckon that's at least the same size as Odyssey.
It's the kind of work that could have been done between 2017 and 2021. But they had other priorities, and that's fine. But I do think, I think you're right. It's another 3-4 years worth of work.
Yeah. I mean, just to point out to people that it's not a simple job.
No,
Shan, what is if you had your way? There was, no restrictions whatsoever. What would you like to see in there?
First thing would be to delete elite ranks 1 to 5 and sack the person who did it. Secondly, it would. Secondly, I think it would be to make the game. Well, I think secondly, I would ditch engineering and especially the power plant engineering to reintroduce balance. I think I wouldn't necessarily change too much, but I would seriously look at the combat mechanics and the game balance to reintroduce the challenge in not only performing combat mission explorations, etc., but also the build of the ships and etc. around that. So I don't think I'm asking for too much. I'm not asking for moon on a stick or anything like that, but I think it's around the way the mechanics works. I think I would most like them to look at.
Fair enough. Okay, Psychic. Is there anything on your to-do list that you would really love them to do?
I would like more frames, please.
Kind of, that's what they're doing, isn't it?
I know, but that's what I'd really like. Okay, let's be more serious again. I would like a hover bike. I would genuinely like a hover bike. I would like landing gear on ship launch fighters.
Yes.
I'm trying. I don't know that I would like. I would like to be able to dome a Thargoid in the head with a shotgun. That would be lovely. But
Yes.
More than anything, I want the game to be available to every commander on no matter what platform they're playing. Predominantly.
So you're saying crossplay?
I don't mind if you want to include crossplay in that. That's great. I don't have an issue with that. I just want for these big things that we want, like it's pretty much a foregone conclusion with Odyssey on foot stuff. We're gonna get Thargoid on foot stuff.
Yeah.
So and we can't do that until that has the availability on all platforms.
Yes. So basically, you want the console version out as well. Basically.
Yeah, please. Could you wave a magic wand and have that happen for me, please?
Yeah. Back to Ben.
So, just wondering, Si. And of loaded question is sort of loaded. Do you think we can get everything that we want on an Xbox from 2013, 2014?
I am not a developer. I do not know. I would argue probably not. Maybe they've bitten off a lot more than they can chew. But I mean, why not? Why not aim low?
Yeah. Because I mean, I'm with you. I completely and utterly want consoles to come out, and my God, I would love it if we could get proper crossplay. That would be amazing.
That would be great.
I
think we can safely say that no one is going, nah, fuck those console bastards, they can stay in the past.
Yeah.
No one is saying that.
But I don't know if we could get away with writing off Xbox One Xbox One commanders or not. And I genuinely don't know if we can bring them along.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, because they've already proven with the Apple version that if it gets too technically difficult, they will drop that version. Yeah. Back to Shan.
On the console aspect, David Braben, I believe it was him, said that they had designed Odyssey to run on the PC at around 30 FPS. I don't play console, so please sort of like fill me in. I think if the game ran at 30 FPS, it would get slated in so many reviews. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I mean, you mentioned about ye olde Xbox players. If you could seamlessly use your commander from your Xbox account on a new Xbox or on a PS5 from a PS4, you just log into Elite and it's there. Would that change how you look at it?
Well, again,
I completely agree with. Sorry, Colin.
No, you first, Ben.
I completely agree. We should have. This is my Frontier account. I've logged into it, and it should not matter whether I'm logged into PC, Xbox, PlayStation. That should not matter.
Yeah.
I understand that there are ways and means that maybe make that hard, but if other games can do it, why can't Elite? And I'm sorry that's maybe harsh, but
yeah, I think there's a whole load of sort of Microsoft and Sony politics that you have to navigate in order to make that possible. I would love to see that as well. I'd also love to have the PS4 players and the Xbox players and the PC players all together, so that basically
it's so good.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'd make it so that I mean, as I've said all along, if I've bought, let me log on as aid at frontier.co.uk, say, obviously not my email address. Let me log on to Frontier as that, and then it says, okay, well, you have now associated Commander Edelweiss and Commander Sealweiss and Commander Lave Radio and Commander Edelweiss on Epic and Commander Edelweiss over on Steam, you've associated all those different commanders with that one login. Congratulations, that's now you. And then I could go off and log in as aid at frontier.co.uk on my son's Xbox One, and I could just log on and play. Just like I can, and I hate to say this, like I can in Fortnite and things like that.
Yeah, I mean the one thing that the thing is that I'm using different accounts
Yeah.
to play different characters.
So
So
we would need some way of saying, Collins, to go off and say, this is my Frontier account, and then all these other accounts which I've had to make to work around your shitty login system to begin with, I've merged these all into my one thing first, and that could and should be cross-platform, obviously. And then you've got your one login to rule them all.
yeah, I can see.
And you're done.
Yeah, I can see where you're going with that, but I think one of the things I want to do is still have multiple accounts, so that my different commanders can do different things, and
Well,
I don't
this
get
is what I'm
YOLO.
saying, Colin. This is what I'm saying. You would log on and say, I am Colin. And then, after saying, I am Colin, I am Phoenix Defier, or I am Colin's Explorer Commander, or I am Colin's Powerplay Commander. So you'd log in as Colin on the launcher, and then you'd go into game, and then you'd be, instead of just hitting play, you'd be you'd go off and say, just like you do with many other MMOs, you'd go and say, I want to play with Colin today.
And basically pay some marks for an extra character slot, if you like.
We've already done that, but yeah, if you want another character
yeah.
slot, then you go and buy another copy of the game when it comes up on a Steam sale or something.
Well, Shan's got a lot to respond to, so off you
Well,
go.
I was going to ask the question, based on what you said earlier, Colin, about the marketing of Odyssey and next gen consoles. It occurs to me is if you look at Odyssey as if you like a sequel to Last of Us. So if you look at Odyssey as Last of Us 2, and you had Last of Us on the PS4, I'm using an example. If you view it as a sequel to Horizons, you could probably justify, or at least partially, saying this sequel to Elite Horizons is only available on the PS5 Super Xbox. It depends on how it's pitched. I think the expectations, though, of the community is you can just log in on your ye olde Xbox and it'll play. And I think some clarity on that would, I think, be appreciated. And yeah, I'm completely with Ben. I mean, I think it really needs to have some degree of character slots in a way.
Yeah.
But although I don't know how that would work with the existing Frontier launcher, and their business model seems to be pay 3 times for every commander you want to play with, rather than pay once and get 3 character slots. So,
see, I don't want to say I'm okay with that, but I'm okay with that. We buy another copy with this in the Steam sale. You go and pick up another copy for a $5. I can live with that. It's better than what we have now.
But you could have 2 commanders, and then you pay for an extra character slot.
Well, that's essentially what it would be migrating into.
Yeah. Psychic, do you want to jump in here as well?
I did, only like in response to it being a sequel. It would have to be like completely reworked, wouldn't it, to market this as a sequel when you're just downloading extras on the top of the game. Last of Us and Last of Us 2, you launch 2 separate games for. Anything that is a sequel, you would make like an entirely separate launch, and you wouldn't be starting off with the same character. Are there games where you play in the sequel as the same character, but with the exception of Mass Effect?
We were all going to go there.
with the okay, Mass Effect, yes, but they are entirely separate games. You don't have to have played the first game. Excuse me. You don't have to have played the first game in order to play Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect.
You don't need to play Elite Dangerous
encounters. Well, it's part of the game. it's still the same game. You have your Elite Dangerous and you have your Odyssey walking around on foot as part of that same game. They're not separate entities. There is still spaceflight.
I don't know. I'm just spitballing ideas.
Yeah,
around.
no,
I
and
mean,
I appreciate that, but it's very difficult for them to market a game that is clearly DLC as a sequel.
I mean, it's Frontier. They've got the reality distortion field. They can market things how they like.
I mean, it's very similar to, say, Destiny 2, where, you know, if people look at, if you first of all, you had Destiny 1, which didn't go down too well, but Destiny 2, now that it's been given away for free, they're basically coming up with content packs and updates in a similar manner to Elite Dangerous, which, you know, some you have to pay for, some you get for free. But it's this going back to this thing which is game as a service. You know, the constant MMO upgrade. World of Warcraft, let's say World of Warcraft now. I mean, what would that be? World of Warcraft 8? There's a reason why the regression servers are so popular, is because people didn't want some of the content on there. Anyway, I think we're we're going around the houses here, but we are going to continue talking about consoles. Now, one of the things that has come up over I think the last couple of weeks, there was a YouTube video produced by Guy Price. Now, he put out a lot of content, and mostly about the fact that as far as console releases are concerned, they've gone completely radio silent. Now, I think that's a little unfair, because every time they go on the stream, they actually always reply about we can't say anything about the console release, because basically they want to get the PC release up to snuff. As Psychit has already said a couple of times, the PC users are actually testing it for the console users. Anybody else feel like a guinea pig? Anyway, squeak. But there was quite a few good points that he he put forward. First of all, is there anything more that Frontier can actually do to reassure that the console community that something is actually coming?
Show the work in progress, maybe.
But they're not. Yeah, I suppose.
What Frontier haven't done, I don't think they've actually done it. It's always been a bit mealy-mouthed. Is categorically said, we are working on getting consoles out, and we promise, cross our hands, cross our hearts, hope to die, stick a needle in my eye, we will get console release out. Everything's always been a bit mealy-mouthed, as far as I remember.
Yeah, I mean, before, I think it was about update 4, they turned around and the plan was, at that point, was to say, right, okay, you're going to have up to update 5. After update 5, we're going to concentrate on getting the console version ready, and then everybody will benefit from the gains that the console version gets towards Christmas. And then at that point, at update 5, as update 5 came released there, that's when they changed their mind and said, actually, we're going to concentrate on the PC version, and console is suspended until we get the PC version up to snuff.
Yeah, I mean, I also want to actually say I agree with what Frontier had done. I think until you get the console version working, there's no sense doing anything.
Well, you mean the PC version?
Yeah.
I mean, I must admit, that is one thing that I did respond to with one of the many points I did respond to Mr. Pierce was that, or Mr. Price. Why did I get Pierce from? One of the things was that if they had, honestly, if you think that they had stopped PC development at update 5, do you think we'd still have a game now? Because I don't think we would.
Guy Pearce was an actor in Neighbours, or a character actor. Anyway, yeah, just to think what you're just saying, Ben. The trouble with doing what you suggest or you suggested is that they'd end up in exactly the same pile of bull poo as they were with Odyssey release. I think I agree with you, and I prefer them not to say or anything, but some sort of. But then again, even showing a demo release or this is we've got up to, some people would see that and go, "Oh my god, it's never going to happen. It's doomed." Blah blah blah. Blah. So I don't think they can win this one, no matter what they do.
Like some people, like you guys, for example.
Go
No,
on.
no offense, but the last time I said to you, especially Ben, I very, very strongly remember saying, well, what if Frontier told you that? Would you believe them? And you went, no, because I don't believe a word that they said. So what is the fucking point?
I do believe, I think that was just after the release was done.
Yeah.
And just to be fair to Ben, I think when Odyssey first dropped, I think we were all basically shattered.
I'm using it as an example, but it is. But you know what I mean, though. It's
you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and the main issue, I think, well, the problem that I have is that I am seriously worried whether or not they'll be able to get the performance down for the Xbox stuff. And I'm just looking at. I mean, they've made great progress. It's just, I don't know. It's such a difficult one to call because I don't have the technical ability, the programming ability on an Xbox. I'm not sure about. Ask about mobile phone games. Yeah, I'll be able to tell you how difficult those things are to do. But
do you reckon you could get Elite Dangerous running on a mobile?
There's about as
Technically,
much.
I have running on a PC, running on a PC emulator. But yeah, I have not an emulator, a PC a cloud PC.
Yeah, exactly, Ben. Having it streamed from your PC to your phone doesn't count because that's how I got my old VR solution working.
The thing is, they can only kick the can down the road so long before it catches up with you. And I think maybe what we're seeing glimpses of is people getting fed up of them kicking the can down the road without saying anything.
Yeah, I mean that is the point. I mean, personally, I think if we don't really hear anything by, say, March, that's the kind of thing I have to say, right, we're probably not getting it.
Is that in their financial year projections, by the way? Because presumably everything they have to, all the revenue they are expecting to get in this quarter or this financial year, they have to say. Now, obviously, history says what's in their financial reports is a little bit flexible, but I'm just wondering, have they accounted for console money in their financial reports? Because if not, then it would mean a console release would have to be post April the 1st.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm thinking actually happened because one of the first things they did when they reviewed their earnings report, they cut the revenue they expected from Odyssey by a third, which ironically is about the same amount of player base there is for the customs. From the customs for the consoles.
So did they add that revenue on to next financial year, or did it just disappear?
It just disappeared. They've cut it completely. They haven't put any extra projections on earnings from Odyssey. They've cut it just basically to 2/3 of what it was.
So, tinfoil hat mode, does that give us the answer to our question?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, and all I can do is just say this: is that as far as the only thing that they have announced is that they're going to get Odyssey up to a certain point for PC, and then it used to be then we'll look at doing the console version, but that language seemed to change lately to then we'll review whether our console options at that point. And it was when the narrative turned to the we'll review the options, I thought, oh no. Because
See, for me, that feels like an FY23 thing.
FY23?
Yes, we're still in FY21, aren't we? Until the 31st of March. So FY22 will be
FY financial year, Colin.
Yeah, got you. Yeah, because it's until the end of March. But then, how come they had to get it out for the end of May then?
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
Because I thought there was a reason fiscal. Because I thought that was one of the reasons that they had to get it out before June so that it would be accounted.
Well, that's the reason we speculated why they had to give it out. I mean, you don't know what pressure from the board internally, for example, they had to get it out. So that's the assumption I think a lot of people made. But no, I'm just trying to go on the reports because they have to put their projections in the reports. And if it's not in for next financial year, either it's not ever going to happen or it's in for the financial year after that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a tough one to call, really. I will put a flag up to say that I'm concerned. I mean, can you see them just doing it for Xbox X and PS5 instead?
Yes,
because I do have more confidence that they will be able to get it on those platforms, but I don't know about it's the Cyberpunk 2077 issue, because now that it's come out on PC and been upgraded on PC, it's great in my opinion. It's certainly runs really well on mine. However, you still run it on the Xbox or the PS4 versions, and it still is quite janky. And, PS5 and Xbox X, I've heard good reports about.
So do you think they're prevaricating over that decision, or have they just made a decision internally and just wondering how to announce it's only coming out for PS5, Xbox X, and they're wondering how to pitch that? Again, tinfoil hat mode, but
You know what? I mean, in my opinion, it all depends on how many more frames, to quote Psychic, we get with Update 10 and Update 11. If by Update 11 you're able to run Odyssey on, say, low detail at about 30 frames a second on the PC equivalent of an Xbox, I think they'd be good to go.
I think they'd get hammered.
I don't think that the people who want the console players who want this, they really do want it. We've already had a hashtag Odyssey for console appear in the chat, and every time you go onto one of the official streams, it's just console question, console question, console question, console question. I think people would accept it at 30 FPS, but
no.
I don't think that they would, mate. I really don't.
Seriously, no. Well, then I do wonder whether or not it's coming out for those base level consoles then. Because my PC is far superior to an Xbox, and it's getting, 45 frames a second.
Could they downgrade the graphics?
That's on mid. I could probably get 50 to 60 on low. But if they downgrade the graphics, then they'll probably downgrade the graphics on the PC version as well.
That's what because I think talked about that. I think it was our interview with Arf last year. You asked, are we going to see a similar downgrade in the graphics as to what apparently happened with Horizons? And I can't remember his answer, but
No, I can't remember either. All
It
I
was
remember.
basically downgrade. What downgrade? I don't remember one.
Well, he wasn't there then. It was.
Yeah.
It was Horizon.
Exactly.
Go back and look at some Obsidian Ant videos where he does a side-by-side comparison, and it is quite shocking because you suddenly realise we lost quite a lot.
Mm.
Mind you, I think a lot more people were complaining about the beige plague at that point. So
yeah,
yeah. Anyway, we're getting Mac Winston saying they downgraded it due to PC performance problems. Am I reading that right? Anyway,
there was something, wasn't there, where they changed the ice asteroid field not to be so cloudy, for a better description.
Yeah, it was kind of the. There was some atmospheric effects that they took away. Dust effects, especially, seemed to be the one that the Xbox couldn't handle. And yeah. And anyway, so I think. I mean, the too long don't read question about this is, yeah, we want. I think everybody here wants to see a console version. It's whether or not it's going to be able to. Frontier are going to be able to deliver something on the older generation ones.
I personally think they're trying the hardest, but I think they're fighting a losing battle, in my personal view of it.
In a stark revelation, I actually agree with Shan on this. I know.
Ben, are you going to make it? Because believe it or not, I agree with Shan on this as well.
I agree.
No,
with Shan on
we're not
too.
doing this. No, not happening.
Well, there you go, Shan. That's a New Year resolution. You got the entire of Lave Radio to agree with you for once.
I win Lave Radio 2022.
I mean, it's early days, mate. Don't...
Yeah. I think, yeah, it's probably going to be possible for the new generation, but the older generation, yeah, I think we're a little hesitant. We hope it comes, but I don't think we're hopeful.
So another question then, Colin, while I'm on a roll, in a way.
Oh no.
At what point do you think they've gone past the time when they can keep kicking the can down the road? When is your... And it came to Ben and Si, really.
Yeah, well, I said March. By the end of March, we should know. The end, after update 11 has come out, at that point, that's when I think they should turn around and say, right, okay. As far as I can see it, update 11 is probably where they're going to stop doing the PC updates, and then after that, that's their opportunity to do consoles. What does you think about that, Ben?
I think they should have come clean last June, or as soon as they had the idea of, you know what, guys, this is going to be really chuffing hard. I don't think we can do it.
Yeah.
I have no idea when, and even if they're at that place.
See, I don't think they've even decided to look at the consoles yet. They won't even look at how difficult it is to. They haven't looked at how difficult it is to do yet. They'll probably do that towards the end of March, just to evaluate if it can be done. Psychic, what do you reckon?
Oh man.
Not putting you in the spot or anything.
No, honestly, I'm just really hopeful that it does happen, and it is something that that they do have. I'm confident that they're doing the best that they can to make it available for for consoles.
Yeah, I'm scared that they're going to make the same mistake that they did with Offline Gate, where they should have announced a lot earlier that offline mode in Elite Dangerous was not coming. I can just feel that this is another mistake brewing, but yeah.
Well, you think about the Mac version as well, like Colin. You know, it's like, when are we getting Horizons on the Mac? When are we getting Horizons on the Mac? And so on.
Well, to be fair to Frontier, they were honest about that right from the word go, because they said, well, the Mac version's not updating the right
Yeah,
the right
can't-
technology. It
Yes.
was DirectX. They weren't implementing DirectX in the same way.
It's not DirectX, it's Compute Shaders, that's what it is.
That was it. And even when equivalent technology came along, it was far too late. They'd have to rewrite the entire engine to take that technology into account. Shan, quickly.
Yeah, well, the example that springs to mind was PSVR. How people kept asking Ed, "What about PSVR?" and he would say, "Nothing to announce, nothing to announce, nothing to announce yet," etc. So they were asked about PSVR for a good couple of years, and then people slowly got fed up of asking about it, and they didn't ever mention it again. So people just sort of forgot about it, and they almost got away with it. I'm wondering, again, tinfoil hat mode, whether they're trying the hardest to do it again, but are they going to do the same thing? I wonder, where they're just going to wait for people to shut up about consoles and hope it goes away.
It's not going to go away. It's not going to go. You're alienating a third of your player base. That's not going to go away.
Well, I could argue rather mischievously that
But you
when they
said you
released
weren't gonna do that.
Odyssey, no, I said mischievously. I didn't say cynically. I said mischievously. You could argue they've alienated a lot more of their player base by releasing Odyssey the way they did. So there is precedence for it, but that would be naughty and mischievous. So I'm not going to mention it.
Right. Okay. Too long didn't read. I'll just summarize. We're hoping that they do it, but we're not hopeful. Oh God, how confident does that sound? Oh dear. Right. We will leave that conversation behind and move on to the community corner. Now, does anybody want to talk about the Comfy Cannon Cruise?
I can.
Go for it, Psychic. What is the Comfy Cannon Cruise?
Okay, so it is a massive expedition that has been going on. They visited 134 waypoints in 300 days, traveled over 500,000 light years. They are returning to the home of Cannon Research, completing the tour this Saturday. So Saturday, the 8th of January. Commander Mephisto got in touch with me and was like, can you talk about it, please? And it was the first time that I found out about it, and I think it's really cool. So to take them home, the plan is to do this mass jump on Saturday at 8 p.m. UTC in Commander Mephisto's private group. And we are jumping from Commander Illyrium's fleet carrier Angel Share in HIP 101166 for the mass jump, and then jumping back in the general direction of Verati for fun and shenanigans. And yeah, it's a cool thing to celebrate. So hopefully plenty of commanders will show up.
Excellent. That sounds great. I do know they said if you've got the fireworks launcher from the Winking Cat, please bring it along.
Bring all three, because they're going to be shenanigans and frame loss.
According to Stage, shenanigans is apparently a lot of flocking birds, or some kind of flocking birds. So, yes, sorry. Tangent town there. Don't know why. Next up, we have, well, you know those ship size comparison videos that come out? Well, Mac Ricardo has gone and done another one. This time, to include everything in the 2021 release. You'll know the one. It starts off with a banana. It plays the Blue Danube and starts from a banana.
I love those. They're great.
Yeah, goes from human to SRV, and it's included the Scorpion this time. It goes all the way up to Orbis stations and all the way back down again. Absolutely fantastic to watch, and quite nice to have on in the background in a constant loop actually. But that could be down to the Blue Danube, which is always good for a chill out session, I suppose. Top Shift 131 is out, where I have managed to prove to myself that I'm really inept at using a Scorpion. Yes, so if you want to see how you shouldn't use a Scorpion, then pop along to Top Shift and see what's happening. Turgeon Travels is back. Thanks, Sackett. Turgeon Travels is back. Number 53. Commander Turgeon has actually taken a break from hunting the galactic thief Lily Laveran to investigate some mysterious alien ruins. Now, Turgeon is part of the broadcast. I think Ascorbus is actually broadcasting at the moment. Yeah, they're always good value. They're always fun to watch. He's a superb content maker, is Commander Turgeon, and I think this is the first one in about 6 months. So it's good to see that he's still working on them. Shan?
Yeah, I just want to give a +1 to Turgeon's travels and stuff he did. I just really enjoy what he does. It's so well done and it's spot on with the Elite Universe. So yeah, long may you continue.
Yeah, let's hope so. Also, we have a new thread which was brought to our attention from Commander Core Morningstar Felian. And he's been doing some deep diving about the search from Raxilla, which is nothing to do with the Dark Wheel project or the Dark Wheel Turns project, which I think's still going. And has recently discovered our station commander's Alan Stroud's work on the matter, and kicked off a thread which has been going for quite a while. So we'll put a link in the show notes where you can find a whole lot of tinfoil hattery and unique unique insights into where Raxilla could be, and the usual mad theories. One thing that I didn't notice, and it suddenly clicked with me, and spoiler alert if anybody is interested in reading or listening to Lave Revolution, I didn't realize, but a couple of the clones in that story were named after Imperial emperors. I completely missed that one.
In game, Elite Imperial Emperors or
Elite Imperial
Star Wars
Emperors. No, Elite Imperial Emperors. Which, it does kind of put ideas and conspiracy theory ideas in your head, doesn't it? So, yeah.
Or Alan was just run out of names and thought, I'll choose that one.
Oh, no. Well, go read the thread and see what the response is, because I think someone asked him something similar along those lines. So, won't spoil it. Go read it. So, we have our mostly clueless section. This is from Commander Tekarov. Would recommend getting a fuel scoop around the same size as your FSD. Yeah, for example, he gives a 1E fuel scoop has a scoop rate of 18 kilograms a second. I don't know how he's come up with this theory. I mean, I've normally got a size 4. I seem to have a size 4 and everything. Shan?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I'm going to have to play around with it to find the reasoning behind it. Usually, I choose a my limitation for an exploration ship is power. I don't necessarily want a bigger power plant. I don't want to have a running super hot power plant. I want something that gives sufficient power for what I need to do. So therefore, I would choose the size of fuel scoop that fits in with the power profile of everything else. So yeah, I'm going to need to do some experiments for that. I guess if you're buckyballing and you need to get somewhere in a hurry, then you try and fit the largest fuel scoop you can. And if it's an Anaconda, the class 6 fuel scoop is probably a good way to go, for example. But I don't know. I'll have to try and play around with it. It's an interesting theory. Be interested to hear from other listeners as to whether they think that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just kind of interested.
Yeah.
I think you're right
Psykit.
to.
Oh,
go
yeah,
Psykit. Go
Psykit
Psykit.
first, and then back to you again.
Nah, mate. No, no.
So-
Absolutely, categorically not. No, I'm clearly vehemently against it.
I mean, I must admit, in my clipper, I've got a class 7 fuel scoop, yet a class 6 jump drive, and I think bigger the better if you're going for exploration.
So size does matter then, Colin.
Absolutely, when it comes to fuel scooping, time matters as well.
And our resident fuel rat, what do you think to that, Ben?
Yeah, I think I see what Shan's getting at, and it depends what you're wanting to do. Now, most of the time, if I'm in a position where I'm wanting to fuel scoop, I want to be fully scooped by the time I've orbited the planet and I'm ready to go and do the next jump. I don't want to have to sit there for 10 minutes to do it, even if it means I'm using half as much power as I did before. But I can understand if this is the thing I like about the base version of the game before engineering. We've got so many options and there's nothing wrong with any of it. If you're not in a rush and you'd rather fit a larger shield cell instead of a larger fuel scoop, go do it. There's nothing wrong with that.
And also remember that the larger the fuel scoop, the less mass it takes up. Because that's one thing that gets me is there's no mass to a fuel scoop. It fits in a size 7 bay, but it doesn't use 128 tons. It's 0 tons.
Are you listening, Collector Limpet?
Yeah, we'll go back to Psychic. You've got some more community corner news.
Yeah, buckyball racing's back.
Yay!
Really excited. Alec posted today about the buckyball racing and the forums about buckyball racing being back. I should have added it. I'm sorry. But what they're doing something different this year with buckyball racing. What they've decided to do is a series of, I think it's 8 races throughout the year. And it's going to be like a running total, but you don't have to compete in every race, and they're all they're all old races that they're rebooting basically. So there's going to be 8 races throughout the year, all hosted by a different person effectively, and then your top, I think 5 or 6 times are going to be added, well, not added up, but it's going to earn you a rank, and that's all going to go be accumulated, and the person's there's gonna be an overall winner of the season, and it sounds very fun, and you can count me in because it looks like a lot of fun too.
Yeah, I'm just cutting and pasting this now, and we're going to put it into the show notes. Yeah, it's the it says rules are still going to be finalized. Brewski is coming up with new regulations, and there are race entry forms for everyone to fill in. So there's new details of this on the forums, which have just been posted as of 2-3 hours ago. So, Ben?
You almost answered my question for me
Oh,
there,
sorry.
Colin. Are they going to be changing the rules at the 11th hour?
Well, they've gone and changed the rules here. Yeah, the Buckyball Racing Club and New Pilots Initiative present a crossover event which will test your Super Cruise, speed docking, and aerobatic skills in the hottest racing action, this time this side of the Zindini.
No, that's not the one.
That's not the one.
No,
Oh, because that's another one. Then.
That's old, I think. The Buckyball Racing Club presents the Magic 8-Ball Championship. Is what you want. So they've been quiet for way too long, but the Buckyball Racing Club are back, baby, with a whole new championship consisting of 8 races run at monthly intervals throughout 3308. So it's just rehashing. We're redoing redoing some of the original races.
Oh right, got it. Yes.
Redoing some of the original races. There's like 8 of us are going to be hosting different races, and yeah, it looks really fun. It looks really fun. I'm really excited about it.
Are you planning to join in? Sorry.
Oh, I'm hosting one of them.
Excellent. Well, in that case, that is the first of 2 events that the Buckyball racers are involved with. There's, first of all, the 8-ball, which is starting on, as we've said before, and then also this new thing, which has just been released today. The Buckyball Racing Club and New Pilots Initiative, that seems to have been posted today, even though it's got a date for last year.
Yeah, that sounds like really familiar, like one that's already been done.
Yeah. Well, we'll ask Brewski for more information on that, and if we can confirm it, we will obviously bring it to you next week. So, has anybody got any other business that they would like to bring up before I mention the one thing that made me go WTF?
I was going to bring up one thing which I think which was released on Boxing Day, Colin.
And would that be a book that refers to a certain Star Wars character?
No.
Oh, okay.
So on Boxing Day, Docker's Christmas special was released. It's all going for special effect. Watch it preferably without your kids around, or listen to it without your kids around. Shenanigans was had by all, and it's the production value on it is far better than the actual content. I guess that's what I'd say. Yeah, something along those lines.
Yes. So if you want to,
and Dr. Mick from Special Effect is now he's on the Queen's New Year list, so he's going to be an MBE.
Oh, an MBE.
Deserved.
So
yeah.
So many congratulations to Dr. Mick as well.
Yeah. Which is higher, an MBE or a CBE?
I think it goes CBE, MBE, OBE, and then Knights, etc. But I don't even. I mean, to be fair, I think I'd be happy with any of them. To be fair. But...
Yeah. Right. Well, my WTF moment is that Doctor Who has announced that they are merging. They're putting the Daleks into Eve Online. So basically, if you play Eve Online, where you fly a spaceship, spreadsheet, the Daleks are invading. I was just a little bit there thinking, hang on, you're contacting Eve Online, yet you have a British-based game for basically a British-based Time Lord. No, didn't want to link.
Yeah.
No.
I was going to say there's another picture that goes with that announcement of Jodie Whittaker leaping over a shark.
I do find it's a very interesting mashup.
Did you just do air quotes around the word interesting? I just got this mental image of you
yeah.
putting air quotes around interesting.
It's not the marriage I would have thought of. Yeah, I don't understand why CIG think they need not CIG. What's the name again? Is it?
Well,
Like
no,
I
it's not
don't.
CIG.
Who makes EVE Online again now?
Oh my god. I know it all the time as well. They're always mentioning it on CCP. There we are.
CCP. That's it. I
Yeah.
knew I was nearly right.
The Icelandic company.
Yeah, I don't understand why CCP feel that they need to have Daleks, and I don't understand why Doctor Who or the BBC feel that EVE Online is an ideal match for them to introduce aliens into.
Hmm.
It's a weird one to me.
Yeah, Psychic.
So I downloaded Eve.
Yeah.
I'm gonna learn how to play it.
Good luck.
Oh my god, Psychic, good luck.
I really want to fight Dalek.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Eve looks damn pretty these days.
It does.
So
And
I'm
then
actually very interested in Psychic's experiences with it, because it's always been one of these games which, I've been very tempted to have a look at it. I have to admit.
It
And
is
then
one
I've
that
gone
I've been
off
tempted at a
and-
lot of times. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's always been. But I actually want to fly a spaceship.
yes, that's always been the issue that I've had with Eve, because I've looked at it many times before Elite Dangerous came along, and I was there going, "Oh, that sounds exactly like the kind of game I want to play." And then I find out you don't fly the spaceship. It's very, very much like the the taskbar MMO
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Yes, a lot of people don't like it because if you think the Elite Dangerous community is toxic, you have no idea what the Elite community, the Eve community is like. It makes you've got to be toxic. it makes toxic part of the game.
I mean, there's a couple of thoughts spring to mind with this. First of all, the Daleks don't belong to BBC; they belong to the Terry Nation estate, and they are very, very picky about who they give the Daleks permission. They give permission to use the Daleks for. So I'm quite surprised they allowed them to, unless CCP gave me a huge check. But this thing is, I'm kind of in two minds because I see crossover stuff like the Normandy and No Man's Sky and all things like that, and I think, oh, that's cool. Part of me thinks that's cool, but then another part thinks, can't they think of something original in their own lore stroke game? I don't know. It's maybe the nation state is desperate to get rid of the Daleks from a dying franchise. I don't know.
Oh, you so wanted Doctor Who to die now. I don't know what's wrong with that, because I actually quite like. I hated the previous season, but the latest season I thought was
What
good
was what they
enough.
did over Christmas like?
I haven't seen that one yet. It's on my
Okay.
to-do list.
Sorry, what was what?
The New Year episode.
Oh, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it's a time loop one, which they're always fun.
Really, it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. It had minimal other characters in it. It was minimal other characters, Daleks, and yeah, it was very enjoyable. I had a good time watching it.
Budget episode, budget script writer.
No, I thought it was a very good episode. Did you watch it, Shan?
I did, and I got what I'm not going to spoil it for people because obviously Colin's got to watch it, but there was too much stupid dialogue when they should have been doing other stuff in the episode.
I would disagree. I thought it was really good, but
Timey-wimey, not stupid enough for you then.
Oh, well, I kind of I don't want to spoil it for people, but basically you have a few people having a serious conversation, hiding behind a couple of plastic barrels when there's Daleks bobbing about. And you think, do you really want to have such stupid conversations about Manchester and Liverpool when you've got Daleks about to exterminate you, etc.?
The best time to actually have good conversation about Manchester and Liverpool is just before you get exterminated by Daleks, because you can't have the conversation after you've been exterminated by Daleks.
I thought you were going to say because the Scousers would be after you, but anyway.
Anyway, we will also just give like to give a shout out to Operation Ida. Or Operation IDA. I never know which way to actually pronounce it, so I always try both. They're still doing the holiday event, so if you want to pop over to their Discord, you'll find full details of what's going. So I am being schooled here by Mac Winston. It's Ida, not IDA. So there we are, Operation Ida. I've got to write that in a note in the back of my hand to make sure it gets back in my head.
Just think it rhymes with spider.
Oh yeah, well next week I'll probably say, and Operation Tarantula is now in full effect. So we'll just do some quick shout outs. So first of all, Dockers, as Ben has mentioned, Dockers Christmas special has been released. You can also give the details to or you can make a donation at justgiving.com/team/beyonddockers, and it's even on YouTube. I hope they haven't done full video on that, because it will get taken down. Our sister station, Hutton Orbital Radio, it broadcasts on a Thursday from 8:30. You can tune in at twitch.tv Hutton Orbital Truckers, or if you just want the audio, go to radio.forthemug.com. And yes, it is available as a podcast, which we have forgotten to mention in the past. Right. For the discerning commander that likes a bit of CQC action, you can check out the CQC Discord at discord.me/EliteDangerousCQC, all one word. And we'll give shout-outs to the following Elite Dangerous podcasts. So hello to Allograb AM, Black Sky Legion, the Canon Podcast. Spanish speakers have the Elitacast, Fatherhood Podcast. Is Flight Assist on hold for the moment, or is
we're on a little break? We're going to be back in February.
Excellent.
But all of the other episodes are still available to listen to. I'm such a shill.
Yes, you are, and that's why we have you on. There's also the Guard Frequency, who do other space sims as well. Loose Screws. Hello to everyone over the other side of the pond. Squeaking Fuel, and of course, System Chat. For those that want a literary discussion about sci-fi and fantasy books, there's the Data Slate podcast, which is created by Station Commander Alan Stroud. Now, following this, we have a Galnet news update as provided by Commander Witherspoon and Commander Beetlejude. It will have some Galnet future gazing, a look ahead to Galnext in 3308. Yeah, that'll be interesting. And we'll just thank everybody who has made some fantastic contributions on the Twitch and YouTube chat channels. Wouldn't be the same without you. Thank you very much. And of course, special thanks to Commander Tokuso, Jay and Trax, and Alan Stroud, who have all created music which we use in the show. Well, that's it for the first episode of 3308. If you'd like to get in touch with the show, then you can email info@laveradio.com. Hit us up at facebook.com/laveradio. You can leave a comment on the YouTube channel. We've had a few of those lately, so that would be nice. And you can tweet us at Lave Radio. You can join our Discord server by going to discord.io/laveradio. We also have a TeamSpeak server where commanders like to hang out and chat, and you can find that at teamspeak.laveradio.com. Word of warning, it is shared with the truckers, so you've only got yourself to blame. So do get in touch if you have any questions, or if there's anything you'd like us to discuss in a future episode. Lave Radio is recorded live on a Tuesday evening at 8:30 and streamed out live at laveradio.com. Thanks to Ben, thanks to Shan, and thanks, of course, to Psykit. And special thanks go to today's tech specialist, who is the Chris Mark IV. So until next time, Commanders, fly safe. And if you can't do that, fly dangerous.
Is your life like this?
Sounds like someone having an orange inserted. Need a safe word. Space can be lonely.
I'm gonna see the galaxy.
Ah, damn it. No worries, guys. Hold the fort for 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Galnet News Digest Review of the Year, 3307. In the first 4 episodes of this review, we've talked about azimuth biochemicals and salvation, about the Marlinist colonies and about the NMLA, about Admiral Vincent and Jupiter Rochester being locked away for attempting to assassinate President Halsey, and about the Sirius Corporation expanding its influence. In this final episode, we look at where the galaxy might be headed next year. It seems certain that Salvation will attempt a major strike against the Thargoids in 3308. He's fired his super weapon 4 times, in each case clearing out an entire system. If he intends to deal with the Thargoids once and for all, what has he planned? Something to do the same, but on a galactic scale? Ironically, as 3307 draws to a close, the year-long invasion by Thargoids seems to be ending. Most of the attack stations have been repaired, and Thargoids seem to be little more than a minor nuisance. Admiral Aidan Tanner is under arrest for his unauthorised and unsuccessful attempt to find out what Salvation was up to. His one-time colleague, Professor Albert Tesreau of the Achenar Research Council, and for 4 years the head of research at Aegis, may have better luck. She's currently working with Guardian technology specialist Ram Tar to reverse engineer Salvation's technology, and they plan to reveal details in the hope that it will sway galactic opinion against Salvation. Salvation says he's a scientist, but has gone to extraordinary lengths to conceal his true identity. Some believe he may be the artificial intelligence that the ancient alien race, the Guardians, developed to fight off the Thargoids millions of years ago, and which subsequently eliminated the Guardians. We've heard little about the Guardians and their AI for several years, so there may be some credibility to this theory. Others believe that he may be someone who worked for Azimuth Biochemicals 4 years ago when they were trying to learn how to get humans to fly a Thargoid scout. Other suggestions are that he may be a disaffected member of Aegis, or that he might be one of the engineers. Will he finally be unmasked in 3308? For that matter, who is the Witch? The person sponsoring the Azimuth work in 3303. She, if it is a she, has seemingly vanished, her identity entirely unknown. The Neo-Marlinists seem to have been defeated once and for all, but there are plenty of conspiracy theorists who believe that Theta 7 faked his suicide. He's seen on video detonating the megaship Sacrosanct, but who's to know if he was really on board at the time? Emperor Arissa remains in hiding from the NMLA, even though they've apparently been defeated. The last time she was seen in public was in September 3306, when she spoke at the funeral of Prince Harold Duval. Everything she's done since then, every word she's passed down, has been through her Chancellor, Anders Blaine. Is the Emperor well? Is she even still alive? Until she once again appears in public, we can't be sure. What we can be sure of is that should she die, then Hadrian Duval and his son Hector Mordanticus are likely to get a fair bit of support as her successor from the more traditional senators of the Empire. Their main competitor for the role, anti-slavery activist Princess Aisling, would be a bit of a problem as Emperor of a society built almost entirely on indentured labour. In other imperial news, will the split between Senator Ximena Torval and Mustopolis Mining have a lasting impact? Will the revivified corpse of the 130-year-old Torval be content with amassing even more wealth using her army of slaves and a broad commercial network? Or will she use a substantial military fleet to make a mark on the galaxy? She's one of the people least likely to support a future Emperor Aisling. For the Federation, will Fleet Admiral Vincent and ex-Core Dynamics CEO Jupiter Rochester, who are both being held in solitary confinement, Rochester, without even having had a fair trial, get to spill the beans on what they know? Or are they really being looked after by a cabal more powerful than even the Federation? Will Hudson's part in the assassination attempt on his predecessor ever become public? The campaign by a brewer corporation to establish a chain of megaships along a route between the Bubble and Colonia was a huge success in 3307. Brewer hopes to build on this, making tritium more widely available at the megaships and establishing starports with shipyards and fleet management facilities along the route. This opens up the possibility of commanders being permanently based in these starports along the Colonia Bridge, living the frontier lifestyle, possibly thousands of light years from the next starport. This initiative, which is expected to start in less than 2 weeks, will also give commanders another chance to earn a range of pre-engineered frameshift drives that are better than anything Farseer or Martok will do for the ordinary commander. 3307 was the year we got to meet the Dredger clans for the first time. The Scriveners seem harmless enough. They've been wandering the galaxy collecting knowledge for more than 200 years, knowledge that they're not willing to share. The Blue Viper Club, Archon Delane's new best friends, seem to be more piratical in nature, allegedly crushing and recycling manned and operational ships if they can. And the Phagos Dredger clan, which we only know about through legends and through the incomplete report of a soldier at Holloway Bioscience Research Facility 15, are believed to be cannibals, munching their way round the galaxy one victim at a time. Will we see these Dredger clans again? Or will we get to meet other, equally fascinating clans in 3308? During 3307, some commanders were granted permits to get out of their ships on a limited number of planets, away from the main population centres, to visit settlements and undertake missions on foot that often seem to involve shooting people. The people who do all this shooting have been heard to mention that it might be nice if some aliens chose to invade on foot, something that would give a little more variety in the choice of targets. Commanders more interested in exploration than killing get to wander around looking for vegetables and shooting these instead, using a special knowledge gun. All they've ever found so far have been things rooted to the spot. When will we get to see space rabbits? The two-seater Scorpion surface vehicle was the first new vessel of any kind made available to buy since probably the launch of fleet carriers, and only the second model of surface vehicle that can be carried around in ships. Is this the first sign of a renaissance in the design of new vehicles? Will that fabled Panther Clipper, the only ship that actually requires a 4-person crew, finally get the go-ahead for commercial release? There's little we can say for certain about 3308. We know that fleet carriers will soon come equipped with a viewing lounge, so we can all sit with a bucket of popcorn and something sickly sweet in a paper cup and watch the transition from one system to the next. The rest of the year is largely a tabula rasa, a blank sheet. Will it be as interesting a year as 3307? We'll have to wait and see. For now, here are some New Year fireworks. courtesy of that lovable art thief, the Winking Cat.